Hello, third graders, and welcome to Thursday. Today is a beautiful Thursday in May. The sun is outside, as you can see, and it is kind of blinding and really washing the color out of this video, which is not that big a deal. And we are still studying ideas about civic participation, which means participating in your community and helping your community be strong. We're going to be talking about something really special today called a witness to history that you all actually got to participate in a couple months ago. At least you did in Ms. Becker's room, and I think in Ms. Moore's room also. Let's get started, and I think you'll remember what I'm talking about, okay? We are opening our books to page 472, okay? And it is called History's Witness. This is a personal narrative. A personal narrative is just a story. A narrative is a fancy word for story about someone's personal life. So it's not really a biography because they're not telling their whole life. This author, Molly Smith, is just talking about one special story from her own life. In fourth grade, you're going to be writing your own personal narrative. What is her special moment that she's talking about that you kind of did also? And how, in what way is she history's witness? Let's get started. We start out here. This is from Molly Smith. I was a freshman in college when I first voted. I had just turned 18. It was 1992, a presidential election year. Election day came closer. I suddenly realized I was registered to vote in Massachusetts, but I was away at school in Washington, D.C. I couldn't go home to vote. That happens to a lot of people who are far away from home when they vote. There are ways of doing that, though. Maybe we can talk about that. My mother told me about absentee ballots. An absentee ballot would allow me to vote by mailing a ballot to my hometown. My mother requested an absentee ballot from the town clerk. The clerk quickly sent it to me. So the clerk is just an official. Sometimes they have to be elected, like a mayor or like the council person in the previous chapter. You vote for a clerk who would kind of be like the Miss Sherry of your whole city. They run the office, they run the whole library and all of the records and all of the pieces of paper. That's what the clerk does. And one of the important things they do is ballots. A ballot is the piece of paper that you vote with. So when you're voting, you get a ballot, you fill out your ballot, and you turn it in. The election was 3 weeks away, but I filled out my ballot immediately. First, I checked the box for the presidential candidate. Then I voted for local elections and issues. Last, I proudly mailed my ballot in. So look here. It says here, Bill Clinton was elected president of the United States of America in 1992. Thousands of people gathered for his inauguration. Do you remember the inauguration we just had in January? That was the day that Joe Biden became the president and Donald Trump stopped being the president. This was an inauguration. They have inaugurations every couple of years because that's the way our country works. Bill Clinton is here. He became president in 1992, it says. So there was an inauguration 28 years ago, just like there was this year. You all probably don't remember her, but Hillary Clinton, or Hillary, also ran for president, but that was when she lost to Donald Trump. We keep going, okay? The candidate I voted for was the winner. Bill Clinton was elected president. To make the event more exciting, I was living in our nation's capital. I could see the inauguration in person. The inauguration is the outdoor ceremony that takes place when the president starts a term. Clinton's inauguration was on January 20, 1993, just like Joe Biden's inauguration was on January 20 in 2021, so just later. There were parades, fireworks, and a big concert. On this day, the president makes a promise to serve the country well. This is called the oath of office. My friends and I went to watch the new president take the oath. It was a crisp, sunny afternoon. We watched the event on big video screens because of the huge crowd. I had chills as I closely watched. This event has taken place every 4 years since George Washington took the same oath. It was history, and I had been a part of it when I cast my first vote. Here he is taking the oath of office, which is where the president promises to do the job well. And do you remember? We watched this, at least in Ms. Becker's room, and I think in Ms. Moore's room also. We watched this on TV. So we also were a part of history of something, a little ceremony that is happening every 4 years since George Washington. If I can do some quick math, it has been going on now for 233 years. That is amazing. Well, that was the part of history that Molly Smith was a part of. She was witnessing history in person. We witnessed it on television, but we still witnessed it. And it's something that's going to happen every 4 years. So let's take a look at our packet pages today, okay? Okay, so here we are. We have 2 packet pages today. It's going to be simple questions though. It's page 472 and 473 in your book. Is this fiction, nonfiction, or poetry? I didn't tell you this at the beginning, but it is a personal narrative that's not like other narratives. Most stories are fiction. This one is nonfiction. She is telling the truth about what she was feeling and what she saw and heard. So that still counts, even though it's a narrative, even though it's a story, we still count it as nonfiction. Almost all stories are fiction, but this is a true story, exactly the way somebody remembers it, so it counts as nonfiction. What type? It's right here, and you can see it in your book. Who is telling the story? Is it first person? Is this person Molly Smith saying, I saw this, I remember this, I was there? Or is it someone else talking about her? And that makes a difference. Is it first person or third person? Ask a question to help you understand the story. We're going to read this part here, and you can ask a question about it. Circle all of the sentence with words that let you know the narrator was excited. This is important. So I want you to pay special attention to this one. Out of all of these sentences, it should be A, B, C, D, E. Which ones talk about how she was feeling? But I was away at school. The election was 3 weeks away, but I filled out my ballot immediately. This is called the oath of office. I had chills as I watched closely, and I had been part of it when I cast my first vote. There is more than one answer. Okay, so you should circle one, but if you find another one, and you should circle that also. See if you can find 2 correct answers. Read this passage. How does your mental image of the inauguration change throughout the passage? As you read this, how does the picture that you have in your head change? This is something 3rd graders are learning how to do. You keep a picture in your head. It's what good readers do. They imagine what they are reading. Even though we can't see what she was seeing, we imagine. And finally, you're going to put your image here on paper. This is what she's saying, and I want you to draw. As doesn't have to be perfect because it's not an art class. But I want you to tell us as close as you can, what are you picturing in your head? You can draw it even if you want to. Clinton's inauguration was on January 20th, 1993. There were parades, fireworks, and a big concert. What does that look like to you? Can you draw a picture? On this day, the president makes a promise to serve the country well. This is called the oath of office. Can you draw a picture of that as well? And that's our packet pages, okay? Um, do the best that you can. If you have any questions, you can always ask your teacher. We'd be glad to help. Do your best, okay? Have a good day, everybody. Bye.